Hi everyone, Mature Simmer here, firing up for our few moments of work today. I say that a little tongue-in-cheek, but it's not entirely inaccurate. So I'm honestly trying to figure out what I want to do, because I think if I go this way... Alright, so we're going to go ahead. That gets us to the edge of the field there. But you can see, I think we're in essence going to have 3 or 4 passes to fully fertilize this field, which is just incredible. It's going to be so fast. Alright. The biggest challenge is going to be that. Like, how do I know I'm done, and can I go far enough into the woods to be done? And if I can't, I'll worry about things later. There we go. Alright. So, go ahead, get this little piece done here. Looks like I'm going to have to weave around a bit. There we go. That should get all of that. It does. So I will circle back up to the top, and then I will run here, and then I think we'll have one more after that. Alright, there it goes. Should be able to just run through here, keep fertilizing that part of the field. Can't quite see where the blue is. Yeah, I think we're literally getting almost 100% of the field. I think there was just a tiny bit that didn't happen. Yep. I'm thinking I may have dropped the ball on some of those others. But yeah, let me just cycle back here. And I should frankly be able to just go this way and turn it on for a split second. And that should take care of it. Yep. Alright, so 20 minutes. A lot of good part of it spent dancing around, doing nothing. But yeah, I mean, same amount of fertilizer, obviously. We had, you know, about 400 that went down, so that's about what we've been running into. So that gets us here. And then what I'll do at this point, because again, we're not going to get chickens early, that's kind of our next thing. I'll just get ahead and go to harvest, and then we'll see what straw swaths look like. So I'll see you in a bit. Alright, here we are. Fields of barley. Oh, our chickens are gonna love it. I was trying to get my GPS set and then remembered I don't have a GPS on the harvester because I shouldn't need it. Okay, so before it gets too loud, I have enabled the straw swath, so we will be getting straw. Here we go. Alright, and while it's not a super thin one, it's way better than the one that was spread out before. So I'll take it. I think it's still gonna be a bit of a challenge for my baler, but see how it goes. I was hoping it would be a little bit more compact, I suppose that's... I don't know that it's really any wider than it is normally. So the bigger challenge I'm going to have now is... what do I do with the barley? Because I don't have anywhere to store it. So suddenly, feeding the chickens becomes a bit more difficult. The things that have not been considered. So it looks like I need an inexpensive silo option. Alright, this is interesting because that swath seems a little more compact. So it just seems a bit sporadic in how it works. Whoops. That is not what I wanted to do. Alright, I did somehow avoid going off the edge of the field. But yes, one of the more important things is I am not spewing everywhere. So now I'm going to try to go as straight as I can, basically line up and then not turn. See how this all plays out. Obviously I'll have to handle that little bit down there. But if I can create straight rows, then when I bale, things should be a lot better. And at this point, the bales will definitely be for sale. But I think I'm going to have to figure out what I'm doing for storage. So part of the reason I picked barley is I knew it's a pretty high-yielding crop, so as far as giving me a good amount of crop for feed, I knew we'd be in pretty good shape. So you can see with just the headland and a very small portion, we're already 75% full and rising rapidly. Yeah, the biggest question will be with the baler later. What exactly things will look like if this swath is too wide and if I'm going to have to make two passes. But either way, it's still less spread out than it was with the Ford, that is for certain. So I'm certainly happy with the differences there. Alright, so go ahead. Obviously we'll be full soon. Alright, trying to line up to get a nice, again, straight run if I can. See how far we can go before we get full. 7,500 is our limit. Don't think we're going to make it to the end. That would be surprising. But we're making a good dent in this row. So there we go. Just grab a bit more. And of course, when we're full, we turn off and get a lot quieter. So, yeah. Just seems we can't win. But now, I'm going to shut myself down because I've got to figure out what I'm going to do. Alright, so I've gone ahead and there is an inexpensive silo that I found that's an old Polish silo. It's still $10,000, and so the problem becomes, like, it's $10,000 for me to place a chicken coop. Now, I'm going to have to feed them. I'm having a really ridiculous idea, which is to basically fill the trailer and then dump the rest on the ground and pick it up with a bucket. Which really, I'm thinking I'm gonna really not be happy about that, but it's just, if I spend 10,000 on a silo, and at this point either the chicken coop or the silo, it tells me I don't have enough money to build it, and I'm sure it's because of the slope and what has to be cut out and so forth. So, because yeah, I'm almost tempted, although I probably would put it over here where it's out of the way and I can go in and out. But yeah, the silo would go there. So the question is, if I can dump on the ground, because then I still have to buy a bucket, which is 1,600. But again, if I have feed in the trailer, at least I can dump that in from the trailer to feed them. Because the trick is, like, once I can sell the bales and stuff, I think I'll be in good shape. But I gotta get to that point, and that unfortunately means some creative problems, but and I don't know that I can find a much cheaper bucket, so alright, there we go. So that'll take 3,150 of my harvest here, and then I can fill up again. So there we go. Oops. Stuck on my pipe. I'm like, why am I not moving? Oh, no, I'm not. Stuck on that giant tree in front of me. Alright, I just need to be careful that I don't. Alright, let me just back out. But as you can see, the harvester maneuvers swimmingly. I mean, we're on that hill at this point. You know, it's doing a good job. So I'm assuming I'm going to be able to dump this. I may find out I'm not, and I think at this point I'm just going to, like, put it over there so I know it's somewhere I'm not going to build. Because obviously I can't build on top of something I put down. But yeah, the capacity of that silo is... Alright, So, quiets down a little bit once it gets going, but not a lot. The capacity of that silo is about 25,000, and it's $10,300, and that's obviously assuming it is going on flat ground. So, that's the problem. But I think what I need to do is get the chicken coop in, and then I can just keep scooping grain off the ground. So, yeah, this is all really fun stuff. There's just all kinds of stuff going on here. But yeah, we are, just when we thought we were moving along, we are butting up against another survival challenge issue, because, yeah, if I'm selling my crop, and, maybe that's, I don't know, in theory that's the smart thing to do, is, like, really be ready, but otherwise I'm sitting around for months doing nothing, just waiting for crops to grow. At least if I had the chickens, I'd have some eggs to deal with once in a while. I'd have to feed them, especially once they start reproducing. Because I don't think I'm going to buy a lot of chickens to begin with, so they're not going to eat a lot of feed. But I'm sure once we get up to 500, it's going to be a good amount of food there. Alright, so I'm thinking this will fill it up, because the problem is, like, if I can't dump the food on the ground, and the challenge is, or the food, it is chicken food, but if I can't dump the grain on the ground, it's going to be interesting. I may have to, like, put it in the trailer and then dump it. And it's not as if I'm putting, it's not as if I'm putting 500,000 acres, or 500,000 acres, 500,000 liters on the ground or something. I mean, it's a smaller segment, but let's see if I can just do it straight. If not, I'll have to try something else. Alright, it is going to let me do this. I'm assuming I'm not going to lose anything, but I could be sadly wrong. This is getting very close to my harvester. I'm not liking that. Last thing I want to do is get hung up here. So we'll see what 7,500 liters of barley looks like on the ground. Because I don't know that I'm going to be able to keep putting it in the same place. I was hoping I could just, like, make a really big pile, and I suppose I could do some of that, but... Alright, well, I've either wasted a bunch of barley and then I'm gonna have, I don't know, something to do to clean it up, or it'll be there. But I guess I've got something to do, so I will... Now you know what my plan is, as ridiculous as it is. But I'm going to keep doing that, get this harvested up, and I'll see you in a bit. So I just dumped about 800-900 liters on the ground onto that pile again. I think there's less than that here. So I'm just going to get this finished up. It is very, very loud and painful when it starts up. I apologize. Not much I can do. Not that it's less loud and painful when it's running, but... Alright, so So this will be it. Yeah, we'll be good. I'll be surprised if we even hit 7,000 liters again. And at this point, I'm going to leave this in the harvester, because I'm not going to need that until next time. So there we go. So we can get that done. So much quieter. So yeah, I don't think we're going to get anything from the strawberries until tonight, but it's only 11 in the morning, and I'm not going to waste a day of work. So at this point, we're going to start baling and selling. So a lot more organized than it was before, but I think those swaths are still pretty beefy. Now it's possible if I had a modern day baler, maybe it would be wide. I don't know, maybe it will be wide enough. I guess we'll find out, right? Yeah, that's right. We need to unfold the baler, which will put it out to the side. Then we need to turn it on, and then we need to lower the pickup, and we're baling. If I could steer, it might be okay. It might actually grab most of it. So once I'm on the rows, I think it'll be smoother. Just obviously a bit of a challenge here. Alright, so this should be in the operating position, because it's not in the transporting position. So there we go. So it is auto loading, which is what I need. And the problem, of course, then becomes being able to get this to the store. Because I should be able to do a lot more. Now I do wonder, because I'm trying to think, harvesters can pull trailers. Although, yeah, I don't think the arm's long enough, but, my question is, could I use my 200 horsepower harvester to pull this thing? Oh boy, I am all over the place just trying to do something here. So I apologize, it's pretty sloppy. So yeah, I don't know, I think it's going to be tough either way to get the entire swath. I mean, it's getting most of it, but it's pretty wide. So I may have to go up each row twice, so this still isn't a terribly efficient process, but again, it's still way, way better than it was with the Ford, where there wasn't any organization of the straw at all. So, yeah, at this point we're almost got one whole layer done. I'm trying to recall, I know if full it can do 105 bales, but I've just never gotten it near that given the challenges I had. Yeah, so this is one of those, I mean, a lot of times in survival series at some point you'll get things moving along, you'll put them on course play. As you might imagine, with the trees and everything here, I don't think that can happen. So I am basically doing everything by hand. Missed that. Utter sadness. But, you know, this is still not bad compared to the alternatives. Alright, I'm going to grab some of that, I'm sure. I think oh, I got it somehow. Crazy. I really thought I had swung too far wide, and that it had not worked. Of course, now, yes, now I have gone too far. Alright, so the question is, what did I do? Oh, I put the harvester back. I'm tempted, although it's going to be a little bit of a mess to try to disconnect the baler and then get things onto the harvester. I was going to say this will work to some degree, but I don't know that I'm going to have a great angle anywhere. So it's still pretty sloppy. You know, and it's still, there's a good amount here. You can see it's still filling at a pretty good rate, even though it's not everything one would have hoped for, but you know, there's still a lot here as far as the amount of output, which again, as I shared, was the goal, was to make sure that I had everything I could to get the largest amount of money, which requires something to sell to people. And so bales are the things we're selling right now. I'm trying to remember how far I went before I stopped, because I'm just worried I'm gonna overdo it, and I'm not gonna be able to pull it with the harvester, and then it's gonna be, I don't know, a disaster. Alright, so I'm gonna go down here. Let's see. So I'm gonna set this up. We'll set up a track. Kind of going the way this is going. Yeah, see, I'm not sure. I think I'm almost going to need to drive, because it meanders enough, and if I want any kind of ability to pretend, because it does look like it could get most of it with one pass, I just have to not quite go as far over as I was there. So now, let me put this over here. Well, let me put it like somewhere where I'm out of the way. And then we'll run over here and see if we can grab it. I think that's not gonna happen, but who knows? Or we'll be able to grab it, but we won't be able to turn. Interesting. Is it like underneath? Let's see, what if I fold? Okay, unload baler. So there we go. Now if I fold it, see, I'm just wondering if there's no collision, maybe. Do I try it? I'm tempted. No pain, no gain, right? Go big or go home, our favorite phrases. So yeah, when it pops loose, it's kind of screwy, but alright. So I'll put myself there, bring the tractor. Because yeah, I think I can, I mean, obviously if I start having difficulty on the field, that's one thing, but I think I can do this because I'm going across, I'm not going up the hill. And then I'll I just drop the trailer and then back the harvester up and then take it to the shop, because if I can do it in less trips, that would be great. Because yeah, you can see like it's struggling here. So like perhaps I think my next run will be to do it pretty quickly. Alright, so it's still lowered. I thought it would be. But no, if I can... I know what I'm trying to say. I can't get the words out. I'm going to try to do the vertical rows when it's empty, when it's less heavy. But I think as long as I keep going across here, then I'll be able to pile on the bales. So the thing is, like, the trailer will take 105 bales. So if I can do that, and again, there's not a specific place I need to go, although this does appear far enough that I can potentially do a row at a time and at least get most of this done. So still not great. I don't know that a lot of balers have a lot more of a pickup space. I think the challenge ends up being, once again, that it's giving a pretty big swath, and just trying to drive in a way that makes it work. So let's see, we're at 54 or 58, 54% is what I was seeing. But yeah, trying to, because the problem is, like, the GPS is not the same, and I can't get it to snap in this direction, so it almost has to be a manual drive. It looks like I can just get the entire thing, but trying to position that is the challenge. So, but even if I can do it for segments, I suppose that's better than nothing, and gives me some options. Alright, so now we're at 59. I'm not sure. I'm going to turn that sharply. Maybe I'll go here. Whoops. It's getting a little crazy. Why won't it straighten out? There we go. Like I'm not even moving. But anyway. So I think we're going to have 2 more layers to fully get the trailer loaded. Trying really hard to get as much of this as I can, because obviously it's just kind of touching things up later if I can do that, although now it drifted off. It's just hard to tell exactly where I want to be. I'm trying to remember. I mean, the bales did a pretty good job of earning money. I mean, that's their job, earn money. But so it's hard not to do this. And I just don't know. I'm not sure, again, that the intake on another baler is going to be substantially better. So if I, like, somehow targeted a modern baler at some point. But, the challenge, the thing is, like, this is a nice auto-loading combination. And, we can get a lot of stuff on here. So it's, not something to sneeze at, proverbially or realistically. Oh boy, there we go again. So we'll try to get ourselves onto something, but going around in that direction. It doesn't happen at the other end for some reason, but on this end, I cannot get the baler to not slide down the hill. Alright, so it looks like we've got 3 more to get, and then we'll have a full house. And now I gotta be careful on the other cycle here because I want to unload the baler as well. Now what I will do, just to avoid running through the trees and having more difficulty, is I'm going to drop the header off of the harvester before I take it to the store. But yeah, we'll see where we're at once we get down this end of the field. Obviously these are some of the longer rows at this point that we have. But every little bit of survival we can muster here is for sure what we've got going on. Alright, so we're going to be at 95, 96 bales on the wagon, whatever you want to call it. Now let's see. What if I go slower? Will that not slide as much? Of course, this is excruciating. It's like molasses. Yeah, see it? Yeah, it just whips around when it goes down the hill. It's just literally gravity of some sort. Like the sort that's on Earth, obviously, but I think you understand what I'm trying to say. I'm just not sure what's driving the crazy baler to run down the hill. How about that? So 105, so yeah, we'll get to the end of this row. That will be more than enough. Alright, and now if why will it not unload? Right, I thought it was Y. Oh, I see, unload bales. No! No, 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 that's not what I meant. Oh boy, abort unloading. Can I do that? Okay. Holy moly, that was bad. Because I think here... Let's see. If I take like a really sharp turn and the baler like goes back on the tractor, I know it grabs some in there. Now let me see though, I may be on... Alright, if I turn off the baler, lift the pickup, unload the baler... Oh! Where'd that one go? Oh boy. Well, that's fun. Alright, well the good news is it looks like the bale is done dancing, whatever it was doing. It's just laying there. It's being a good old bale. Alright. So, let's see. Here we go. I'm like, I'm gonna start driving through the forest with this stupid thing on here, and then I'm gonna be upset with the tractor, I think. Like, we wouldn't be able to move. Because I think we did get stuck at certain points. But with this, I think we'll be okay. But yeah, I think if I tried to not do this with the baler, it would be ugly. So, you know, we're going 4, which I think is way faster. I think I never got above 2 with the other one, but again, we've got... It also probably doesn't help that I have 7,000 liters of grain in here as well. So anyway, I will get there eventually. I'll see you when I'm there. So we've got a bit of a mess here. I could not make it up the hill. I've been slowly picking things up, but I've sold, I don't know, 60, maybe 70. Problem is, this is like too wide, and then when I go by, it like is too far away. Not sure that I can make this work. Oh goody. I'm like stuck on this tree. That's what's happening. Alright, so here is the chicken coop. Alright, so I think if I put it around here, this is about the best I've been able to get. It's like right there. Alright, so let's go take a look at our chicken coop. So again, because of the wonders of the ground, so yeah, it looks like, but this at least gives me enough room to pull in here where I should be able to hopefully come and do things and then drop food, so forth. So, you know, the chickens have got some slope up here, but it's the joy of Risu Forest. So more importantly, we're gonna go ahead. Chickens are $5. I think I can do 60 at a time. So there we go. 120 chickens. It'll take them a little while to lay eggs, but we have chickens. So yeah, I have a few hiccups. Basically, I had to reset the harvester when the bales got stuck, and I lost all the barley and that was in the harvester, because at that point I hadn't gotten back here, and so I'm doing things in a slightly different order. So, so I'm hoping that will make more sense, but I wanted to explain why there's some continuity issues, because basically I went to a previous backup and am reharvesting the field, but from lessons I learned, I'm changing my sequence. Alright, so I should be able to now have this dump food to the chickens. And I think because... Really? That's it, huh? Wow. 1,000 liters. That's it, huh? Yeah, because I was hoping I could... And I don't have to harvest this now, like, immediately. So what I might do is really change this up. And I'll keep baling, you know, and we'll see how the chickens go. And I'm hoping once they start eating they'll take more, but I'm wondering if they just increase this to be 500 chickens but didn't increase the food amount, which will kind of be a pain having to fill it, especially if 500 of them eat it very, very quickly. So finishing up here, given how things were working though, I went ahead and continued to go across because obviously the baler and the baling wagon get heavy, and so this way we can at least move relatively quickly as we bale. But nowhere to put this, and since the chickens are taking so little, because initially before things exploded again, had gone ahead and said, well, we'll just keep most of it in the harvester, because I was assuming that the chicken coop would take a lot more than it did. So an hour has gone by. I wanted to take a peek. So it's used 25 liters at this point. I just don't know if it's going to speed up, but obviously the capacity is going to be 1,000 either way. So I did stop pouring it in case, say they ate, a couple hundred in an hour, then I would know I need to fill it pretty quickly now. I would hope it's not that fast, because otherwise we would be dealing with having to refill food like once a day if it was going to, or multiple times a day if it was using 100 an hour, for example. So I'm glad that isn't the case. But at this point I've got an empty harvester, which was what I was thinking of before. And I am going to put down the header so that I have as little weight as possible when it is time to go and take some bales, but I'll probably not do more than 50, because it's possible there won't be any benefit at all to not having any grain. It just may go super slow either way, but I'm hoping there's some realism there in that 6,000 liters and however many thousands of pounds that would be would work wonders, but we'll see. So back to the baling. So I'm gonna do that, and as I said, I'll try to do maybe 50 bales or something around there. I'll probably finish a row wherever I'm at, just so that that row is done, or at least that pass on that row is done. And then we'll see how it all looks. So I'll see you at that point. So a bit of a large load, 57. 50 was what I had taken before, but this is everything on the field. So rather than make 2 trips, I'm gonna go ahead and hopefully make it in one. Obviously it's struggling a bit, but it's still moving. So that's the most important thing, and I will see you when we get there for delivery. We'll see where we end up. I assume we're just gonna get another 1,000 to 1,500, so we're not gonna get a huge amount. Alright, I've made it to the top of the hill. Alright, now it's just a matter of how much dancing we're gonna need to do to make this work. So I'm gonna head as far over as I can. Last time it just emptied when I pulled into this area. There we go. So that is the best. Right, so 1,700, so kind of right in between what I thought. But we're all set. So we've got chickens, We have baled. Not entirely sure still if I'm into the baling or not, but in this case it was helpful. So it gave us a little bit of material to work with. Get back in the cab here, it's just easier to see through the trees. Although I still do run into things, even doing that. But glad I made it. It's still faster than taking 2 trips, so. So we've gotten through another crop cycle. And really I guess I've got to let it go a little bit, see what things really start to flesh out as, like how quickly eggs start coming out, how many pallets of eggs we get in a few days. Again, the strawberries, it was a lot, and there was not really a great way to grab them. Alright, I am going to leave the baler here. It's off to the side. But the natural decision point starts to come about now. If I'm settling into a standard, how do I expand? What do I do differently? Yeah, because I think the situation I have right now is honestly, you know, we probably made, I don't know, I made, what, 4 or 5 deliveries? So we probably made 5 to, at most, 10,000, but I don't think we even got to 10,000. Alright, so they're at 60%, they're at 850, but that's through most of the day. You know, I think they need to get to 100% before they're going to start creating some eggs. So if we look here, they'll produce eggs until they get to puberty. They won't have any additional chickens, but I believe, you know, the productivity's up there with the health. So I think once we get to 100% productivity in the next 4 hours, which will obviously happen before the morning, we're likely going to be in pretty good shape to start getting egg production. And the question is, out of 120 chickens, what does that turn into? And then more importantly, at 500 chickens, what does that turn into? So if the consumption of food is 25 liters per hour regardless, you know, that means I've got maybe 2 days of food, which is unfortunate. I would prefer to have had more, but I think it's the trade-off of a large coop. I just wish it had, you know, I know there's a chicken coop. I think the one in the VIP series holds some insane amount, like 40 or 50,000 liters of food if I was to fill it. Now, you know, again, this is a quote-unquote small chicken coop, so it just doesn't require a lot that way. But if they're going to eat 1,000 liters every 2 days, you know, and I can't sell that, I need to store it, you know, then I've got to work on things. Speaking of storing, before I call it a night, I'm going to go ahead and get this universal bucket. So that'll hold 1,000 liters. Okay, so strange thing, somehow looking at my inventory, I didn't have a pallet fork. I don't understand how that's possible. I swore I did have one, but it was gone, so I've gone ahead and done that. I just don't know if I grab the pallet fork if I'll be able to carry the bucket. My concern is I think the bucket will fall off, and then I'll be going back to get the bucket, but I'm gonna try it. So anyway, I am going to get these, and that will be the end of the day. At this point, not entirely sure. Like I said, I think I'll have to let things go a bit, see how things go. But yeah, to load the eggs, I can't do that with a bucket. I need a pallet fork to pick up the pallets that are going to spawn there. And there's no way to do anything other than that. I suppose I could try to scoop up the pallet fork with the bucket, but I'm thinking it would be easier the other way. I don't know. Right, well, looks like I'm gonna have to make 2 trips, so I will do that. But at this point, you know what I'm doing. Whoops, gonna run into a tree. But anyway, this is exactly why I'll just end it here. We've got enough going on, especially with the confusion of a couple attempts at getting everything done today, and kind of having pieces of both videos where it made sense to get you to ultimately what the result was, which was a chicken coop. After we did baling and harvesting, and now we're trying to feed chickens, and we got a pile of barley on the ground, which is why we need the bucket. But I'll do that, and I will see you next time.